After placing the beam successfully in our current project, let's see how we can edit this object. So the basic things, like we'll try to, you can copy, rotate, mirror the beam. So I'm just going to select the beam. Now make sure that if there are overlapped objects, say for example there is a wall element and there is a beam element. So for some, and even the column is also there. So for some reason, if you are standing on that location and the highlighted element is not in your favor, you can hit the tab key from your keyboard so that the rolling ArchiCAD will keep on roll in that on that location, and will find out which object you can go and select, that it will get highlighted. So if every time you hit the tab key, you will realize this. So this is a one more possibility. Just remember about this, that if there are multiple objects are placed on top of each other, and if the required object is not getting selected, you can hit the tab key from the keyboard before it's getting selected. So anyway, let's try to select this beam. So all selected one beam is there, object which I have selected in my info box, it is getting displayed. Now how to copy this? A very simple task. You can again use Ctrl Shift D or any other required method, and you can just now from this I have taken one reference point and then destination, that is drag to point. So this was my copy. Same way I can mirror also. So if I want to mirror this beam, I can easily mirror this, rotate this, etc. So please try to do that and complete the floor plan in the normal quick manner. So instead of drafting new beam every time, you can even try to just copy that, rotate that, extend, trim, the way we have done for the wall. Now let's talk about the basic editing. So I'm just going to select this beam. I'm just going to place this beam on the empty part of the drawing. Okay. So to understand this in a better manner, I can say. So I'll just try to place it on the empty part of the drawing for a while, and then later I'll let you know. Now, if you want to change the length of the beam, obviously you can click on the node, either of the node, and then make sure that your pit palette shows the stretch option, and then you can change the direction and the length of the beam as per your choice. So this you know very well, just like the wall which you used to edit. So it's a similar thing. So I can just try to change it and place it on any required direction and with a specified length also. Same way, because now you remember that we have already studied the logic of thicker Mercedes and thinner Mercedes. So please try to follow that logic over here also, that thinner Mercedes will not give you much of the variations in the pit palette, but thicker will surely. Say for example, now if I want to break this beam into two parts, I can stay over here, I can click on this point, and then my insert new node, or I can curve edge, or you can even work for the tangential segment which you can generate. So you just have to show the tangential direction, and then accordingly your beam will get changed. So please try to follow these simple techniques to edit the beam. Again, it's a very simple logic which I can say. Now, apart from this, you can even try to work for another feature, like say for example, I'll get this back to normal. Say for example, if I click on this curve or the arc with a thicker Mercedes, and then I'll just hit insert new node from the pit palette, I'll get back to single segment. Now if I stay on this again, and I'll get the check mark, this is just because I want to be precise. You can definitely follow these logics like divide 3 and everything, and then you can just stay there and go on the required location. Here you can work for this one more possibility known as insert hole in a beam or split segment. That means you want to work with a multi-segmented beam. So insert new hole, and then you can see how it works. The shape of the hole you have to register for, that is whether it's a rectangle or a circular, and then how the contour plan should be shown, that is floor plan display for this hole. The size of the hole, say maybe my size of the hole is supposed to be depth wise, I'm going to take as a 200, and width wise I'll take as a 150. Okay, position from the top of the beam where the position should be. So 100 was the offset. Um, okay, when I say okay for this, you will see how the presentation for this look like. Obviously, now if I press, because the beam is selected, if I press F5 from the keyboard, and then you can even use the fit in window, and you will see how this beam is supposed to be getting displayed for you. Okay, now the cutting in the beam is done this way. The reason, but natural, like if you use the measure tool, you will realize that 200 was the depth and 150 was the width, correct? The offset which we gave from the top was 100. So obviously the cutting of the beam was shown in this manner. If in case you want to edit this, you make sure that you will just select the hole only, not the entire beam. And then you can again put Control D if you want. You can drag this to the required location also. You can copy, you can hit Control while copying or dragging. And I'll just put something like 900. Now if I want to change this position for this, you can select, you can put Control T. Here you can see only that selected hole you can edit, and from the top to the center of the hole, now I can make this as say 200, and so on. So this is and if in case you're not interested to preserve this hole, you can select and hit the delete key. So that's it. So it's a very simple, but what I can say, easier method to create some punctures in the beam if your design demands for that. So otherwise the beam editing is not critical. It's a very simple thing. You please try this and make sure that you have completed the entire floor plan. Few points you should always remember while constructing the beam. Say for example, if I'm working with a single segment, and with that also another thing which you all should always remember, that reference axis and offset. So this is the reference axis location which we have already considered at the time of drafting this horizontal beam. So what I normally follow is keeping this center axis as a constant everywhere. Say for example, if I'm putting Control Shift M, I'm going to first of all mirror this, then probably to make it placed on the right location, then I can say Control D drag, and I can, with the check mark exactly on the required location, I'll drag this. Okay, so this later I have to make sure that the reference axis for the beams, they should be intersected. This is something very much what you can see, it's a very important thing. You should always remember about this, because this will help you to complete the analysis of your structure also properly. Say for example, when you go and try to check out structure analytical parameters, here definitely it counts how your reference axis is getting what you can say intersected with other beam, and how the framing is getting completed. So please try to always remember about this. So even this beam now, and you can see the other beam. Now another thing one should always remember, that if your drawing demands for the variation in the depth of the beam, and even at times your RCC designer gives you different beam numbers. For example, from the column 1 to column 2, my beam will get calculated maybe as a B1, then B2, B3. Then you please try to split that accordingly. For example, instead of drafting this as a continuous beam, you should split this, so that will be more better. So I'm just going to show you that I'll select this beam, and then I'll go for the split tool, and I'm going to split this to the center of the column. Okay, so Now you can remember, like, this is something very important. So please make sure that at any cost you should try to uh, maintain the, what you can see, precision level, and apart from that you should try to always follow the correct placement of the beam reference axis. For some reason, for example, if I'm working with the beam tool and if I decided that my beam reference axis, if I want to place this with some offset, say for example, I'll put, uh, because my beam width was say 230, half of that is 115. Okay, so what will happen now if I'm going to place this beam on this outer edge? If I start drafting, now remember, this is something I'm facing a problem because plus 115, my beam is totally offsetted on the outer periphery. So another possibility, instead of drafting the beam from upper to downward side, you can even try to draw this in other way around, or otherwise you can change this value to negative also. So this again depends on your working style. Okay, but then normally I never go for this because my age and my reference axis gets overlapped. It's not something wrong, I can say, but normally it's not convenient. That is what I felt. So anyway, I can select this and this beam, and then I should use again intersect. This is always something important, that your reference lines, beam reference lines, they should always, or reference axis I can say, okay, that should always intersect with the adjoining beam if the framing has to be get properly completed. Okay, so this, please, you have make sure that you will always follow this particular uh, what you can say rule, and in that manner you then complete the other part also. For some reason, if your beam depth is getting varied, please always check that in your as per your design need, and then fulfill the entire drawing.